Three, two, one. Welcome to the SaaS Pulse Show. My name is Michael Bertoni, and I'm the founder and CEO of SaaS Talent. And I am always really excited, but I am unbelievably excited today. I am interviewing and talking to a QA and testing leader. I did QA and testing for like 7 years, right? It's selling the heck out of stuff and just selling testing teams. It was unbelievable. So I wanted to introduce the world to Seth Hollingsead. He runs Haystacks Tech. He is the founder and CEO. He is out of Huntsville, Alabama. Just giving it up for Alabama. He runs a quality assurance testing organization agency where he provides full service quality assurance and automation testing and has a platform that he's launching. So it's awesome to have you on the show, Seth.
Thank you so much, Michael. It's really great to be here, and we have been on. It's been a long road to get where we're at. So I'm really happy to be here.
Seth, we were pre-gaming about your stuff, man. Keep the faith. You're crushing it. So if anybody out there listening needs testing, QA testing, you got bugs, you have issues, you have problems, whatever, call Seth. Love to hear it. Call Seth. So Seth, love to get into it first with the superhero backstory, right? Always love to understand how you got to Haystacks Tech. Like I saw a little bit of your background and it was very interesting. You know, you're obviously like a QA lead, you're like a test lead. So tell the audience your background and journey that led to Haystacks Tech.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's been a very long journey. So we could talk about my background on LinkedIn. You can go look at, the various employees I've worked for. One of the things was Intergraph. I learned how to build military specification software.
Nice.
Very discrete, deterministic software with set behaviors. Because if the software at Intergraph while I was there, it went down, it was $100,000 an hour in downtime for some of the customers. And so when you do that, you realize, okay, it's kind of like an airbag or a nuclear power plant or an aircraft. You know, if the software fails, somebody dies. It's almost like that kind of financial death, right? So you can't have that happen in your software, especially if you're building quality software for enterprises, for businesses. The last thing you want is for software to go down. So you sort of have to level up your quality game to be able to be a provider at that level. And I realized that early on. And so I sort of take some of those mantras of military specification software and apply some of the same principles to how I build systems.
So that's how you came to your company. You just kind of you had a love for testing. You had a love for QA, right? So tell the audience, give the audience your elevator pitch, right? Let's practice your elevator pitch. What is Haystacks Tech and why should I care?
Yeah, so Haystacks Tech, the beginnings of Haystacks Tech, the name comes from our church. Our church, and I love that, right? It's like this loving, caring community, and everybody's, loving and caring because, of course, it's a church, right? It makes sense. But the name Haystacks comes from a potluck meal that our church serves, which is just a big, huge, long table. And then you have big, giant bowls of chips, beans, cheese, lettuce, sour cream, onions, olives, tomatoes, whatever, all the way down. And then everybody lines up and you go down the table and you just heap everything you want, whatever you want in whatever order on your plate. And at the end, everybody sits down and everybody's chatting and fellowshipping and talking about their passions and interests or whatever's on their mind. And I wanted that for, the community, the communal thing. I wanted that for technology. So the name Haystacks has stacks in it. So it sounds kind of, techie. And the word hay can be reused for branding of subproducts and other little, applications within the parent company. So I call it Haystacks Tech. And now I can have all these products like HayPlan and HayCalf is our Haystacks Cloud Automation Framework. HayDecaf is an upcoming product. Haste for Haystack surface testing. So you could do all of these. HayMonkey for monkey testing. HayLoad for load testing. So you could do all these different brandings and logos that go with that. And so but we wanted not just the buffet of technologies where you can just go down and pick whatever you want or whatever your business needs, but then have that community where everybody's loving and caring and respectful and contributing to that environment.
So give everybody the overview. So give everybody the overview of your platform, right? So you have a full service quality assurance and automation platform. You've mentioned a couple different types of products, but tell the audience again, what's your platform? Like, what are the core things that your platform does to save people time, save people money, things like that?
Yeah, so Haystacks Tech is a QA test automation framework. It's built on an open source browser engine, and we are 90% open source, and the remaining 10% is really designed to be delivered on premises to our customers.
Mhm.
We are not a SaaS provider ourselves, nor are we a done for you service. However, we do support our products. So once we have a customer, if they're struggling, then we will do some stuff with them. We won't do it for them, of course, but we will guide them along that process if they're struggling. I mean, that just makes perfect sense from a customer support standpoint. So while our product is a no-code framework, it does not prevent our customers from writing code to enhance the systems. So basically all the benefits of a no-code framework with none of the drawbacks, right? Flaws or limitations. The traditional no-code systems, in addition, we back our product with a 100% money back guarantee. So nobody in QA is doing 100% money back guarantee. It's just too risky.
Right.
No company on earth has a hyper advanced no code or AI QA framework is offering on premises or open source delivery models. Nobody does that, right? So with these unique attributes of our product offering, we are very uniquely positioned in the market. And I think this makes us a market of one. There's nobody to
Nice.
compete with us, right?
Nice. So let me understand just your business model because I worked at QA testing companies, like I was saying that to you. So are you bringing in tools? Are you bringing in tools to them that they don't have to license, they can use, and then you're providing them services? Or are you actually licensing them the technology or providing them some type of ongoing support for using the platform? So what's your business model, right? In terms of how do you make money? Because I worked at companies that they brought in a suite of testing tools, they didn't license them, but then the people that they gave them would use them for the company, right? So they had a services model. So how does your model work?
Our model is that it's sort of like you go and buy Microsoft Office. You can get Microsoft Office 365 as a cloud service, right? And then you're paying a monthly fee. That's not what we do, because like I said, our systems are designed to be delivered on premises. So it's more like the Microsoft Office digital download, or where you have the USB stick shipped to you, right? So it's more like that, where you install it on your local system, you run it locally within your business. That's what we're designed to do. And of course, we support it. So if customers are having problems, we have a community that we can bring our customers into, and they're able to sort of work with our engineers and if they're struggling. But it's really designed. We have a license, but it's very, very low cost. Like Netflix is more expensive. So
Nice.
our licensing cost, it's a purchase price. So there's a purchase price. We can negotiate a little bit on the purchase price, so we have some wiggle room there. But the licensing cost is non-refundable. But then again, it's so low that it shouldn't matter, right? Especially for a business, right? And Netflix is nothing. So yeah, that's the license is there and to maintain the legal agreements that we have to put in place because we're giving them the code for this framework. But it's built on top of open source industry standard web browser driver engine technologies.
Nice. So in terms of what your company does, so like you said, you're providing them this open source framework, you're giving it to them, they're putting it on their machines, and then I'm assuming then you are providing them resources on your team that are helping them do the testing, the QA testing, or are you working with their team? So how does that work?
We're mostly working with their team because basically our system, so a startup company or a SaaS company is going to need QAs one way or another. Usually what they're going to do is they're going to hire 2 or 3 engineers, and they're going to pay them roughly 60, 80, $100,000 a year annual salary. And they're going to tell them, okay, we're just going to use an open source system like Playwright, right? Playwright, and maybe we're going to use Appium for our mobile strategy. So we're going to use those to build now we could use those things out of the box to build automation, but we need to do things a little bit smarter and try to build some tools and a little extra infrastructure to make it easier to write the tests. So maybe we need a Gherkin parser, maybe we need a data-driven system, maybe we need a keyword system. Well, there's a little bit of code that they're going to have to build to be able to make it easier to write those tests using Playwright and Appium. That's their strategy. So what we have is the same thing, except we've already built that infrastructure. So that's what we're selling, right? We're selling this pre-built package system that you would be building, but instead of spending, paying for your engineers $300,000 a year for 3 engineers to go build that, we've already built it, right? So that's where they're getting the savings. So they're paying the same people to do the same stuff, but they're not spending their time building the framework. They can go directly to testing because they're not wasting that time building that framework.
Got it.
So, but we're not a done for you service. So like I said, we'll help. And we have extensive training on how to be QA, how to do QA, how to think like a QA, how to think QA engineering, how to think QA project management. We have massive amounts of this business process knowledge and people training about how to do all of these things from an actionable standpoint on a business, on a business backend operations.
Got it. So I get it now. So let me describe what I think you're talking about, just so everybody understands. So you're bringing them this awesome platform in which to do testing. Then you're coaching and consulting with them and their team to basically explain to them how to do it, right? So this is how you do it, right? So you're in a sense, you're giving them a means to do the QA, and then you're coaching and training them on how to use it.
Yes.
Got it. Awesome. Totally get it.
So if they have no experience with all about how to do QA, and they have zero, like maybe they don't even know how to code, right? And they got maybe one engineer that they hired out of India to help build their systems. And now they're saying, well, we got to do QA. So it's got to be SOX compliant. So you go do some QA, and the engineer is going, I've never done QA. I don't know what to do either. And then he'll poke around a little bit and come back and say, I'm not really sure what to do. And then the administrators, the leadership is going, oh, shoot, now we're in big trouble, right? So we got to figure it out. So maybe they don't have any experience or very little. And that's what we bring to the table is how to do it, right? You look at my LinkedIn page, and I've been doing this for the big companies. So like IBM, SAP, Sam's Club, Bank of Montreal, Ontario. They own a stadium in Toronto. SunTrust Bank, CVS Caremark, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Alabama, MetLife. I can go on and on and on. And those are the big boys. Like every single one of those is $500 to $1 billion. A lot of time, many of them are global industries. And those working with those guys doing testing automation, those are the big boy toys, right? Yeah. And to be able to coach those companies and have strategies that could be better than the ones that they're even using, and then bring that to the startup scene, right? That's why I did this business. I actually got a job offer from FINRA to be the associate quality director. I'm not sure if you're familiar what FINRA is.
Yeah, no, I know somebody that works there.
Yeah, so FINRA, for the viewers, FINRA is the regulatory agency for the U.S. Stock Exchange. So they have oversight on the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the New York Stock Exchange, and some of the crypto exchanges as well that are operating here in the U.S. That's oversight. So I was going to be the quality assurance associate quality director there, and I declined that position because of the red tape, and I know my product would never see the light of day, and I wanted to help small businesses to scale.
Nice. No, it's great. So in terms of your company, I know you're essentially a startup. You're getting out there, you're figuring it out, right? Now we understand that. So what are your challenges, right? So we talked about a little of these in the pregame. All founders, all people that are starting businesses, what have been your biggest challenges that you've seen in the last year to 2 years, and how are you overcoming them?
Yeah, so one of the biggest challenges we had early on was probably about a year and a half ago. maybe it was closer to 2 years. We had a big problem with an asynchronous bug inside of our development platform. And our
Hmm,
development platform is fully open source. It's MIT licensed. It's on GitHub. It's not part of our product. It is a product, but we don't sell it as a product. It's just we built our product on top of that system.
sure.
But we had a major problem with that system, and it was causing asynchronous things to get out of order and execution. It was an order of operations, the kind of problem you would solve if you're building your own operating system. It was extremely difficult to solve.
Right.
And I leveraged a company out of India called Mobile First Applications, and they helped us to solve that. And shout out to them because they really knocked it out of the park. I would not
Nice.
have been this. None of this would have happened without them. Um, Number two was our product integration. And a big shout out to my lead engineer in New York. His name is KJ. We just call him KJ. Um, his name is actually quite complex. So
You
we'll
don't
just
say his name because then somebody will take him.
go with KJ. Yeah. But he helped us do our product integration. And it took a lot longer, many more months than we were planning, but he got it done. Right.
Nice.
And so big shout out to him. And we had some major issues starting out with our marketing. I think we mentioned this earlier on. We wasted about $30,000 on email marketing, and that drove the company into the ground. We were fortunate to find some extra, a second round of funding and get that to keep the company afloat. So we've got another opportunity here to get this to market successfully.
Nice. So in terms of your team and what it looks like, so people, talent, what does that look like in your company, and what are important things about talent and people in your company?
We have a big initiative around that, and I think you might find this interesting, and some of your developers, or like I said earlier on, we're building this community, and the community is not just for the customers. I firmly believe in giving back to the community of developers. So we have and developers and other people like marketing or graphics design and that whole space, right? So we have a sort of a hacker community, and it could be game design or graphics design or 3D modeling, animation,
Hmm.
all those things. But in particular, programming and software engineering, computer science. And so the hacker community we have free code boot camps that are specifically geared towards enterprise software systems,
Mhm.
building out these large scale company, software backend systems, CRMs, ERPs, that kind of thing, and doing that at enterprise scale. So I teach the systems integration and the really high level, deep knowledge that you would need. You would not even get it from a boot camp, but we teach it in our own free boot camp. And so we got 23 videos on YouTube right now, and I'm running a cohort of engineers through that, and then we're going to start live sessions up again here pretty soon. So that's from there. Once those people go through that, then we on ramp them into an internship program.
Nice. So that's how you onboard people into users of your platform that can help your customers.
Or help us develop the rest of our systems, because we've got 12 additional QA products we're planning to go build.
Yeah. No, great. That makes a lot of sense. So in terms of this has been a real crisp podcast. Podcast has been great. Last question. What are the 2 or 3 biggest piece of advice that you would give people listening to this right now, solopreneurs, right? People thinking about starting their own business, existing companies. Like what are the 2 or 3 biggest piece of advice you would give them?
I would say the number one thing for me, and not everybody was going to agree with this, but for me, the number one thing was find faith, right? I would have never made it this far without the guidance and mentorship that I get on an hourly basis from a higher power.
Yeah.
I have been trying to create my own scripting language for decades. For like 25 years, I've been trying to create a scripting language. I have been trying to figure out how to build the software solution stack that we have. I have been trying to do that for decades. And I have tried, believe me, I have tried with all of my might to do it across every single one of those years. And every time I tried, I failed. There was no way I could have done it without some guidance from a higher power. So
I love it.
I could incorporate all 3 of those, into one, or I could spread them out and say other things, but it's all going to be the same thing.
Yeah, no, I love it, man. I love it. I mean, your higher power I mean, I talk to my higher power. I talk to God every morning when I actually have a morning routine. We'll talk about that in a second. But no, I feel you, man. I'm looking forward to following your journey. Stay online here for a second. Let's debrief. But again, everybody reach out to Seth. All right. If you have testing needs, if you're a startup and you need testing, I know they all need it. They all need it. Nobody's doing testing, right? You got engineers developing things. Nobody's doing testing, right? That's just the way it works in the startup community. So everybody needs it. Reach out to Seth. And Seth, it's awesome talking to you on the podcast and looking forward to following your journey.
Absolutely. Thank you. I don't know if there's a room to talk about AI in there for just a second.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So tell me about AI. What are you doing with AI?
So I worked with IBM Watson doing QA strategy for IBM 10 years ago, so 2015, 2016. And I wrote the use cases for AI in QA.
Nice.
Um, and IBM sort of shelved it and never went anywhere with it. And meanwhile, the industry's moved on. But there was 8 use cases, and I would say most of the industry is only using 1 or 2, maybe 3 of those use cases. So there's significant room to do a lot better, I think, in the industry, especially with regard to AI. And most of the AI systems are built on the old frameworks, which don't have the deep data that we're building in our business. So we're hoping to build a deeper data infrastructure to be able to support stronger AI in QA. And that's sort of our strategy. We're not doing one of these paper stand-ups and just jumping for AI. We're trying to build a stronger foundation. So
Nice. Nice. Awesome. Awesome stuff with AI. So again, awesome having you on the show, Seth. Stick around for a couple minutes. Let's debrief. But looking forward to following your journey.
thank you.